God. Okay, I've known this woman from back in the day. Ashley Darby is here, Real Housewives of Potomac. Honestly, you know what? I owe you and Michael the biggest thank you. You know, you guys came and did my live show with Paul Wharton and Sammy K long before the podcast was anything. So I know. I appreciate you.
No, it's so funny, Sarah, because I was thinking about that and how much fun that show was and how, you know, yes, we came to your live show, but I have been a fan of you for so long, right? And so imagine for me, it was a full circle moment for me even to come to your live show after listening to you on the radio for so long. You were such a part of my day forever.
Well, look, I feel the same about you, and I said this to you before we started, but I'm so proud of you. I mean, did you ever think in your wildest dreams, eight seasons of a reality show? Like, I mean, you have to give yourself so much credit that you have been on TV, been as popular, survived all these highs and lows. Did you ever think it? That's amazing.
Yeah, I think it all the time. I really do. And I'm really thankful to have been here for 8 seasons. It's really not something that I take lightly. And the thing is, I feel like because I am such an oversharer, it feels natural to me to be doing this.
Yeah.
You know, it feels natural to like talk about the inner workings of my life, to talk about my triumphs, to talk about some of my things I'm working on, my shortcomings, if you will. But, you know, so I just feel like that's why it's been so easy for me. And I really loved it.
How is mom life going? You're a mom of boys, Dylan and Dean. You know, I was thinking about this. They're still really little, but do they go to daycare and school? Like, does anyone say anything to them that you are, I don't think people realize this. There really are not famous people in the DMV because, as you know, you've been there a very long time. You grew up there. It's a funny town, right? It's like a lot of people have great stories, but they don't want to be on television. And you all are truly the biggest stars that there, you know, you really are. So did the boys, are they feeling any of that yet?
Well, mom life, first of all, is amazing. It's been an adjustment, you know, because I moved into my house, it's been a year. I moved into my house in 2020, October 2022. Okay. So it's been a year and some change. So I've been adjusting to that, you know, having 2 little kids every morning, every night. Thankfully I have a nanny, so she's very helpful, but it's definitely been an adjustment for the gal because Michael is a very hands-on dad. So when we lived together, that was really nice. So I've been working through that, but they do go to school. They go to a Montessori school, and they've been going to Montessori school since Dean was 1.5 years. That's when the school starts. So they're both in it. Dylan's been going since he was 1.5 years too. Dean is about to turn 5. Dylan is about to turn 3. So yeah, they've both been in it for a very long time. And yes, the parents know who I am, but they don't say anything.
Really?
They really don't. Okay. Sometimes they'll slip and they'll be like, sometimes they'll say my name or they'll say something that I know is on the show, but then they'll kind of be like, oh, you know, and they'll kind of backtrack on it. So I think they're trying to play it cool.
Wait, do you appreciate that? Or would you rather have people just come up to you and be like, okay, girl, I watch you. Like, I love the show. Like, what do you prefer?
Yeah, you know, I don't know, babe, because I think it would be weird if I knew that, because, you know, I've shared stuff about infidelity. I've shared stuff about my sex life. I've shared a lot on that show, right? So it'd be so weird if my kid's teacher was like, hey, I've watched you on the show since day one. I would be like, oh my gosh, then that means you've seen all the stuff, you know, that I've done in my personal time. So I actually don't know. I think either way, I just have to like accept it. And I just have to assume everybody knows who I am and everybody has seen everything I've done. So.
All right. How is dating going in DC? I'm very jealous. I wish that you had been single when I was single because, girl, we would have been like Hot 99 5 stars and TV. Like, we would have been doing everybody. But, okay, so how we would have. I would have been having threesomes with you in a heartbeat. I don't know if you would have been having them with me. You would have been like, oh, I'm going downgrade for this girl. But anyway, I mean,
that would be a great package deal, let me tell you.
We'd be rocking it in the DMV. Okay, but you know, DC's a tricky city to date. Like, tell me, how's it going?
Oh. Well, you know, I publicly dated someone. So I tried that route.
Yes.
Before. And that was challenging. Mainly because I never dated another person on TV before. So that was dipping my toe in that pond. Not really for me. But then on the other side, I just don't, it is a very conservative town, But also now I'm a mom. Like dating as a mother is more challenging, I think, than just dating in the city. Just a whole other variable now. And I have to like balance my time, and even thinking like more so before I date with other people, I have to think about, what do I want? Do I want to be married again? Do I really like, and what does that come with? Does that come with a man living with me and my children?
I know.
Do I just want to date casual? You know, so I have to like really think about first what I want. And then the men that I date, like, can they meet the expectations that I have? So, you know, I've been seeing somebody for a minute, for a couple months. He's just a friend.
Okay.
But he doesn't want marriage, and he's never been married, and he doesn't want any kids.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if that is good or bad. Like, I don't know if that's good that he doesn't want children, because I don't think I want any more children. And also, I'm not sure if I want to be married again, but I want the possibility to get married again. You know what I mean? So it's just like all these things. And I think the short answer to your question is it's really hard for me.
Oh, I have to imagine. I mean, you are famous now. And I mean, is this guy famous or no? It sounds like he's okay. So he's not a Commanders player. Cause I could see.
No, he works in politics.
Oh, okay. Oh boy. Yeah. All right. Oh, I love this. Okay. So maybe you're going to be the next first lady. This is exciting. Right. You got my vote.
America would be in very good hands if they elected me to be their first lady. Let me tell you, we would all love each other. Everything would be so smooth sailing, you know?
Honestly, they would, because I've known you for a long time, and what I respect and love about you is your mindfulness. You're very considerate and kind to everybody of all backgrounds. So actually, I hope you do become first lady. You got my vote. I'll publicly endorse. Yeah, I don't know who this man is. I mean, hopefully he's good too, but I bet.
I know. Well, also too, like I have to think about, if I do date somebody, do I want to even bring them on the show I'm on? Do I want to bring them on Housewives, right? Like,
I don't know. That's
first of all, do they want to be on the show? Secondly, do I want them on the show?
Okay, well, I mean, have you thought about that? Because I mean, we're wrapping up season 8. We're getting ready for the reunion. I mean, you could be like, you got to make a decision here in the next couple months. Are you ready for that?
I know.
What's he saying?
Sarah, do you see why this is so hard for me? Like, I have to consider all these things. Like, all these balls are flying at my face. Just. And so I'm like, gosh, what do I do? What do I catch? Yeah. So I don't know. And I know people really want to see me happy. I appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
Like, people have watched me. When I first started the show, I'd only been married for a year. So I was a newlywed. I was just so blissfully in love. And then, we've shared all of our issues that we had, all of our ups and downs. And then the beauty of our children happened. And then ultimately the fact that we were just not compatible to be together long term. So people are really rooting for me, and I really appreciate that. And almost sometimes I feel like I don't want to let people down. Like, I know that
that's hard.
Of course, my logical brain is like, but this is your life and you need to be did. But then there's like a little part of me that, because of all the love and the warm wishes that I get, I really just, I want to be a good example for other people out there, and I don't want to let anybody down.
No, I feel ya. It's pressure. It's really hard to turn that off and just go with what's actually best for you. It is. Because everybody has an opinion on your life. Yeah.
They do. And I mean, I don't mind the naysayers and all that. It's just, it is really the more the positive people that I want to uplift. And I appreciate that Housewives a lot of the shows, a lot of housewives, I can't say all, are aspirational. Like, they are women who a lot of people look up to and they admire, and their accomplishments and the things that they've done in their life. A lot of people want to emulate or, achieve something similar. So I love that part of the show, and I love being a part of that. And at the same time, that's why I do want to be conscious of the decisions that I make, because I do know that there are people who are looking at my situation and saying like, oh, I've gone through something similar, or I'm going through something similar. And I want to be able to help lead them in the right direction, just like I'm trying to lead myself, Where
do you think the pressure is? Like, they want you to date what? A guy of a certain stature or age, or where's the pressure?
That's a good question, because I think it's more so that they want me to be happy. Like, I feel like if people see that I'm with somebody who loves me healthily, because, again, my ex-husband and I did show the good, bad, and the ugly. So people did see some of the toxic traits that were in my marriage. And so I think that moving forward for myself and what people want to see for me is a more healthy love, like a constructive love, one where I feel supported, one where I'm glowing and, I'm being the best woman, the best mom, the best person that I can be in a partnership, like I feel like I'm doing great on my own, but considering bringing another person in, like I think people just really want to see healthy, happy love from me. And I must say, my cast member, Mia, she's like, I don't know if you've seen, but she's very happily in love. And that inspires me too, to see, while I may not necessarily do it the same way as her, I really love that she's so happy.
Yeah. And you feel that. You feel like this new guy she's with, she's genuinely happy.
I do think that. Yeah, we've talked about it a lot, and yeah, she seems really happy. Her social media, they, loved up at the Usher concert together and stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, like that's beautiful. My girl, she's really beaming. She's beaming.
All right, now you're gonna hate me, but I kind of miss Michael. I miss my Michael Darby on the show. Yeah. Does Michael miss? How are you and Michael? Like, are you good? You always seemed good, but are you good?
We're better. Yeah. We're better. Things were a little rough there. He didn't really appreciate some of the things that were being talked about on the show. Season 7, I guess that was. So, like things that, some of the vulnerable things that I shared that also involved him, he didn't appreciate that he wasn't able to give his side. And the reason he's not on the show is because he feels like for his professional life, he needs to be a little more guarded. Not everyone is meant to share all of the ins and outs of their life. He's not meant to be one of those people. Yeah. So, okay, but we're better.
We're not getting a Michael Darby back.
In a perfect world, because we are co-parenting. Like we were at Monster Trucks together last weekend. We were like doing all these, we're talking about spring break. I don't know what's going to happen for spring break for the kids, but last spring break, we took a trip together. We had separate rooms and everything, but the children got to see their parents on the trip together, not romantically, but like we were both still present there. So hopefully as we keep prioritizing the children more, we can, and I would love for people to see that because they haven't seen that.
Well, I think, look, obviously knowing you guys a bit personally, right? I mean, Michael is a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun. Sure. He was always the party guy around DC and this investment guy. I mean, and so you never see that. You see all the drama between you guys and then the whole Juan storyline of people thinking Michael is gay with Juan, so it's hard. I can see why he wouldn't want to come back, but I miss that Michael spirit, like always like ready to party, all that kind of stuff I feel like is missing.
I know it is. It's missing. And, even there are some moments where even though I know we're not meant to be together, like sometimes I do even miss that in my life. Like I do miss his lightheartedness, his fun, his laugh, so I really hope that one day we can be some sort of friends. I don't know what that would look like, but just some sort of friends, maybe.
Well, one last question on Michael. He did seem like he took a lot of it on TV personally, and it was affecting his business, which is, I feel like what led to the lawsuit, right? With he and Candiace and all of that.
Yes.
Which now has been completely dismissed, final ruling. How does he feel about that? We heard Candiace's side, but how is Michael, was he really upset that was ruled closed? Like, how's he doing?
Well, Sarah, I have not talked to either party in any capacity about it. And I did that personally on purpose. I did not want to be a part of any of it. And Michael did what he thought was necessary. I respect that. I've heard Candiace's opinion. Michael and I have actually had no discussion about it. I found out about that just like everybody else online. So, and that's where I'm going to leave it. That's just not something I want
to. Let's move on because you're also a businesswoman like I am. And okay, I'm going to be honest. I have nostalgia. I miss Oz, the restaurant. Do you miss being in the restaurant business?
Sometimes I do. There are definitely elements. Yeah, you and I had a really fun brunch together that day. It was so fun. This was actually right when you were starting your podcast and we were talking and we were like saying, oh, this is what I'm going to do. And it was really cool. Yeah. While we were sitting right in the booth, I visualized it right under the Aboriginal painting at Oz.
I know. And you guys, that's how you and Michael kind of met, and you were always in the restaurant world. And I know you've always had this kind of wanting to open a yoga studio. I just wondered if there's anything, are you pursuing any businesses?
A brick and mortar business is really challenging today, and I really want to spend time with my kids. A business where I have to be there and be in the flesh is going to take time from my children. And I'm going through this weird phase where I'm traveling a lot for work, thankfully. Like I'm hosting shows and I'm, doing all these fun things, going to New York and LA and da-da-da. But the guilt, like even now, I'm feeling this overwhelming guilt because I cried this morning because I'm spending so much more time away from my kids. Yeah. So I love that that's one thing I love about Housewives is that it's really about my life. So I really can be with my kids. And Gizelle and I are starting G&A, and that's going to allow me, right now it's actually functioning out of my basement. So I'm here fulfilling orders and answering emails and all that. So thankfully, like when they come home from school, they see me.
Good. Love it.
So whatever I do, I just don't want, at this point, while they're so young, I really want to spend as much time with them as I can. So nothing brick and mortar at the moment.
Remind everyone, G&A with Gizelle. You guys, what is it? What are you guys doing?
Gizelle and we had a mutual issue. Not really. She said, so when I work out, I get very sweaty, okay? And my vagina, she just releases like the floodgates open, okay? I don't know what's going on. And it's not like it's like my area, like my pubic bone, just so much sweat. So she and we decided that we were going to create a fitness line, athleisure. And one of the biggest things we're going to work on is pants that prevent the coochie sweat or at least just mask it a little better. And we are going to make sexy, feminine, but flattering athleisure wear. I'm 35. Gizelle is a lady in her 50s. So we want it to be women who it can encapsulate the whole age range.
I love this. And that could give you a lot of flexibility to work at home.
100%. At least for a while. Like maybe it'll change in a year or two. Maybe I'll feel a little more comfortable spending time more away from my kids. But yeah, just right now, I like being able to be home. If I do take a trip, it's like a day or two and then I'm home for a week. I really like to have that flexibility because, yeah, this mom guilt, it's really real. It's so real.
Isn't it? It's terrible. And it's so, I feel like it's so biological too, right? It's like this weird yearning, I guess, to when you're away from your child, it's literally like all you think about is getting back to them. Like getting back to them. Are they okay? Even though they're with your partner or, a trusted babysitter. It's such a weird biological feeling, isn't it? I know. I'm with you. It's why I'm building my show so I can have a studio just at my house so I can be with him. It's so hard.
I know. And I have so much respect. That's why Gizelle gives me a lot of motivation. Even Wendy with her kids who are similar ages, her daughter is the same age as Dean. And she has her two older sons. I'm thankful that I am on this journey with these women because they really do help me. They motivate me and they show me that like I can get through this. I will get over this obstacle. It feels a little heavy at the moment, but having friends like them, because they are my friends. We have some ups and downs, but having friends like them, especially Gizelle, who calls and checks on me all the time to see how I'm doing. She'll come over just to hang out. So that just really helps me balance this a little bit better. I don't feel like I'm doing it by myself.
One of the things I've known about you, and I think people who don't know you personally know this, but you really do a lot of spiritual work, whether it's through yoga, whether it's through just like therapy, the reading, the growing you've done. What are you doing currently in your spiritual practice?
Well, there are moments where I've learned in spirituality, there's a saying that the teacher shows up when the student is ready. And when I first discovered yoga was when I first separated from Michael back in 2017. And I was just really down. And that's when I found yoga. So my journey has evolved so much. Times when I thought I wasn't going to be able to conceive, I had issues like the heartbreak I was going through that. I really reached to my spirituality. So I'm kind of at that point again, where I'm at a bit of a crossroads about dating, like we talked about dating and balancing motherhood and being an entrepreneur, thinking about my life and how I'm sharing with the world, what I'm giving to the world. Yeah. I'm the student again. And there's a guru, Sadhguru, who he's a really amazing guru from India, and he has a really big following, and he has an institute called the Inner Peace Institute in Tennessee.
Ooh,
in the Catskill Mountains, I think it's called.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell us. I want to go. Yep. Tell me. Okay.
I think the Appalachian Mountains. Sorry, it's in the Appalachian Mountains. And I did a 4-day retreat there, and it was all meditation and learning different meditative techniques. So I'm using these new meditative techniques that I've learned, Sadhguru's set, if you will, of techniques. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm reforming my spiritual practice. I'm doing a lot more meditating, a lot more praying, a lot more manifesting, all of that. So
you look so good. You look so good. You radiate it. I love that.
Thank you.
I have 2 last questions for you. You're a busy woman. I love that you're doing all these hosting things. I don't know how much you pay attention to the online chatter, but there is a lot of online chatter that people are not happy with this season of RHOP, and that they feel like you guys are going the way of RHOA, that like something needs to be blown up, that people, what do you think? Do you feel like you think a change needs to happen in the P?
I think that the air just first needs to be cleared. And that's what the reunion will be. I think there's just so much stagnant air, which I understand. I hear the fans. I feel it too. I filmed the show, so I felt it too. And we need a little bit more clarification. We need a little bit more of a breeze. Andy Cohen, if there's one thing about him, he's going to shake it up. He's going to air it out. And that's what we really need. Yeah.
Andy is so damn good. He's so good. I missed you at BravoCon, but I just sat in awe of him, of all his I'm like, this man he's just so good. He's so good.
He's so good. And what I love about him is he's not obnoxious. He's not like in your face and like trying to talk over you. You can see that he thinks about what you're saying, and he's like processing what you're saying. And then he asks poignant questions that really get to the meat of the matter. And that's actually one of the reasons why I've stayed on the show, because if I had someone like Andy Cohen, who I thought had malicious intent or all that stuff, I would never be able to do this show. But I do appreciate that. I think, he really does want to, yes, deliver good entertainment, but also be authentic. And I love that about him. So yeah, there's one thing he's going to do for us. And I think the reunion will just give it'll be a good moving point.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's to come. I really don't. Who knows what our production company is called, Truly Original. Who knows what Truly Original will decide to do, or Bravo. But I'll just be ready. I'll just get my seatbelt buckled and I'm ready.
I know you are. You're open. I mean, do you think we'll get clarification? I mean, one of the sticking points is, do you feel like Robin and Juan gave us all the truth? That's what people keep coming back to a lot. It's like, well, Robin and Juan skirted this and we never really got, do you feel like they gave us everything truthfully?
I think they've given us everything they're going to give. And I think that it's a little challenging, because the litmus for reality TV is that everyone shares absolutely everything all the time. That's what people sort of expect. Robin has made it very clear, as has Juan, that they're going to share what they want and how they want. And that's not just to us. That's also in their personal life. Robin has made it clear as to how she shares with her own family, with her mom and her dad. And I don't expect for Robin to be more vulnerable or share more with me than she would share with her own parents. So I accept that. It's not really my business. I've made my point. I said that I didn't necessarily think that everything happened the way Juan said. Robin said she did. And there's nothing else we could do from that. We had to sit down, Charisse, Gizelle, and I had to sit down with her. She listened to all of our thoughts. She heard it. She absorbed it. She gave us her feedback. And then we just got to move on. I can't stay stuck on it, because I'm not married to Robin and Juan. So what am I going to do?
Last question. You and Gizelle are very close. Have you thought about flying to Michigan and having sex with Eminem so he will drop this lawsuit again? Would you be willing? Because, if I were you and single, I think I'd put myself up. I'd say, look, ladies, I'm willing to do this. And, you guys you've got to launch my podcast. But I'm willing to go to Detroit and have sex with Eminem so he'll drop the lawsuit of the Reasonably Shady podcast.
You're telling me that I should sacrifice my precious goods for the Reasonably Shady podcast? They would be indebted to me for life, okay? Because Eminem would be sprung, okay? He would be pursuing me, all right? So I don't know if I'm going to take all of that on for the Reasonably Shady podcast, And I have said, I think the whole thing is so frivolous, and I just my issue with it is that the context of I don't even know what shady means when it comes to Eminem.
Slim Shady.
What does reasonably shady mean? I mean, what is
Slim Shady? What does Slim Shady mean? Great question. These are all questions. See, this is why I feel like I do feel like Eminem's a little obsessed with you guys. I do, and I would be curious about, maybe I could get with Eminem. I know you're not really into these high profile guys, but I think he might be worth a try. And then, the women would. Guess.
Again, they'd be indebted to me forever. They'd be paying me royalties. Okay, Reasonably Shady would have a dedication to me before and after every show if I were to do that.
Hey, I would be open to it if I were to. He seems a little obsessed with you all in the P, and I would just offer him my P because I'd be like, you know what? I'm single. Why not? I mean, he's so hot. He's oddly hot. I mean, he does look a little like albino, but I don't care.
He's hot?
I do. I know he does look, as he gets older too, they get that like blowtorched look, but I don't care. He's so talented. Wouldn't you want to sleep with one of the greatest rappers of all time? I would.
Yeah, there are a lot of things I have done for the story. And I'm not naming things I have or haven't done, but I have done a lot for the plot. And I'm not necessarily going to add Eminem to that list. And I do like older men. So it's not even about the fact that he's older. And I do like creative men. He just doesn't fit my mold for other reasons.
All right. Well, tell Gizelle and Robin I'm here for them. If they want me to head to Detroit, I'm happy to sacrifice my coochie for the Reasonably Shady podcast. And they can do an endorsement for the Sarah Fraser Show, start and finish. I'm here for it. He needs to get laid. He seems very much like he wants to have sex with one of you.
Well, I know some things. I don't know how much is being shared with the public, but I do know some workings of what's happening with it. So hopefully it just ends soon. I hope it ends soon. But I will definitely be sure to tell them, because I see Gizelle actually tonight. I'll be sure to tell her that you are willing to sacrifice. You are so selfless.
100%. 100%. Yeah. I'm willing to take one for the team. Look, we're loving you and leaving you. You are off. You are hosting things today. Ashley Darby, Real Housewives of Potomac Season 8. Congrats on all of your amazing success. We have the reunion coming up, which is going to be awesome. Love you, girl. I can't wait to see what's next for you.
I love you too, Sarah. Thank you so much, babe. And for you too. I'm excited for all of your journeys. I've been keeping up. So
thank you. It's going to happen.
Sending you my prayers.
It's going to happen. I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah.